Well, hello, Prospering on Purpose family. This is your host, Kawauna, your sister and your lifestyle wealth advisor. I am delighted to have you to tune in and join with me today for our show, and I'm so passionate in helping you to be educated, equipped, and empowered to succeed financially. So I just want to welcome you so much and thank you for joining me today. Everybody, today we do have a special guest joining with us. We have the infamous confidence artist, Miss Jameelah Scott, who is going to bring it today. We're actually talking about, can money really make you happy? Welcome to the show, Jameelah. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me on today.
Thank you so much for you joining us. We are so appreciative to have you with us today. Tell our listeners a little bit about you and what do you do. Who is Jameelah Scott, the confidence artist?
Well, again, I'll say hello, and my name is Jameelah Scott. I am a makeup artist, inspirational speaker, as well as founder of the great group Graciously Me, who empowers women. That's basically what I do. My gift is makeup artistry, but my heart is to empower, equip, inform, and help to transform the lives of women so that they can walk in their divine purpose. So that's a little bit about me, and I just love people. I love women, and I want everyone to be the best you that you can be.
That's right. And everybody, Jameelah is a special guest to me because she actually has been one of my coaching clients for almost a year now. And the woman is amazing, y'all. She helps women with makeup. She is so savvy in what she does. She's full of style. She's full of inspiration. I actually met her when I was going to do my branding photo shoot, and she was my makeup artist, and we instantly just had this divine connection. And I knew right then and there that I needed to build and connect with her on a further basis. So I just thank God for Jameelah just being in my life and me being able to pour into her. I have watched her grow within her brand and be able to pour into the lives of so many other women. So definitely want to thank you once again, Jameelah, for joining us. So in regards to our topic today, which we're talking about once again, can money really make you happy? I just wanted to ask you, Jameelah, do you believe that money can really make people happy? And if so, why and why not?
Well, here's how I feel about it. The money doesn't make people happy. It's how you use your money that I find makes people happy. If you use money in the proper way, it can free your life in such a way that you'll find yourself living a more peaceful, easygoing life, which for some people that's happiness. So if you use money in the right way, in my opinion, yes, you can definitely use it to your advantage, and it will assist in your happiness. But if you're coming from a standpoint of just saying, I'm going to hoard all the money I can get, I'm going to make all the money I can get, it's all about money, 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 and the rest of your life is torn to pieces, money cannot do a thing for you. So just like anything else, you have to actually be a protector of it. You have to use it wisely, and you have to do the right things with it, and with that comes happiness.
And that's so true. You know, I feel like money isn't good or bad. It's what you do with it. Some people try to get money and feel powerful. You have to be able to use that power in a way that is positive and it's not filling your ego. You know, sometimes people can get money and they use their money just to fill all these voids because something else might be going on in their lives. And what we actually have to do is be mindful as far as how is our relationship actually with that dollar? What are we doing? Are we using it as our God, or are we looking to God for abundance, our real creator for abundance? So also just to tie that in, I would just ask you, Jameelah, what experiences have you gone through where you might have tried to use money to make you happy, if you ever have?
Yes, and I just want to be completely transparent because that's the only way I know how to be. And I have definitely tried to use money to make me happy. And for me, I'm a consummate, romantic, and I love the movie. What is it? Love and Basketball. It's just something about finding your Prince Charming and living happily ever after. Now, because I live in real life, I know that this is not true. But in my mind, I still have this vision of happily ever after. And it does happen. It just doesn't happen the way that it does in the movie. So for me, I got married really young. I got married when I was 21. This year will make 15 years. So I have been married for a while. In the beginning, it was hard. There's really no other way to put it. It was hard. Two people were coming together. You're young. You really don't know all about who you are at 21. So coming together, I really always wanted my husband and every year I would say, well, what are we going to do with our money? We would come up, like now, it's tax time, and you're looking at your money you made for the year, and you're like, we made that? Like, what happened to all that money that this paper is saying we made, because I don't see it or feel it.
Right.
You start looking around the house like, did I buy new furniture? Or, did I get a new refrigerator? Like, what did I do? What did we do with this? So anyway, every year it would never fail. I would ask him after seeing what, IRS said we had to pay. And I would say, well, what happened? What are our goals this year? And so in a marriage, or in some marriages, in mine anyway, in my case, it never would happen. I was waiting for him to say, well, we're going to save this much for a vacation. Then we're going to take this other money and we're going to save this to do upgrades to the house. Or we're going to, It never happened. It never happened. So
wow.
At the time, I wasn't a makeup artist. I wasn't an entrepreneur. So I was working a 9-to-5. And I said, you know what? Since we can't get on one accord about what we're going to do with the money, I'm just going to take my money because I deserve something from my check. That was my feeling. I was like, I'm going to get something out of this check, and I'm going to make myself happy. So I would take the money and shop. I love shoes. I love unique stuff. I love household items. I love gadgets. You
love everything, right? Everything. Anything you can put in the shopping cart. Everything.
Exactly. I love in-person shopping. I love online shopping. It ain't really no kind of shopping that I don't really like. So
everything goes.
Exactly. So it never failed. About a week after payday, the ships start rolling in. FedEx man, UPS man.
Oh my gosh. Packages of shame, right?
Just fab. Oh Lord, the list go on and on. And so I started realizing that, Jameelah, wait a minute. I know you're married. I know you want everything to be so perfect. You want your husband to come and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle the money and all of that. I really was rebelling against him, but hurt myself because I said, well, I'm going to fix him. Since he can't give me a plan, I'm going to use my money the way I want to use it. But it was really hurting me and not, and the family as a whole, because I could have been doing other things with that money, even though instead of just waiting for him. See, I grew up in the church, and the church that I grew up in, even now, it believes the man is the head of the household, and I still believe that. But I was waiting for him to take charge and waiting for him to say, this is what we're going to do. And then I found out later, and after being married, that, hey, everybody comes to the table with their pros and cons. They come to the table with their gifts and the things that they lack in. And so, yes, the man is the head of the house, but as a family, we should have a vision. And so I was waiting on him to tell me the vision and just squandering what I had, because at the time he couldn't tell me a vision. So in order to make myself happy, I would just go and shop. And then I would have all the shoes I wanted, all the jewelry I wanted, everything I wanted. But when I needed money, I didn't have it. So there you go.
I know all about that. And you know what? It's so crazy how, you know how your mom can have all these old-fashioned sayings, but my mom used to say, a man has to come to the table with more than just the dinner fork.
Exactly.
Or I would love when she said, there's no romance without finance. We got to get this thing together. You can't have that romance without that finances. Yes, my mom is a country southern lady from Danville, and those are her infamous quotes. And, you know, I still can hear her saying that to this day when I live my life. And I can relate to the things that you say, Jameelah, because when I got to a point in my life where I had my lows, I would find myself trying to fill voids by maybe shopping or going out to eat. You know, eating always makes us feel better. And I think in our community, we just eat sometimes just to eat. We eat when we're happy. We eat when we're sad. We eat when we're bored. We just eat because we're sitting in the house on a snow day. It's just everything is centered around eating. We have our celebrations. It's like, what we're going to eat. You know, you graduating, what we're going to do, what we're going to eat. Everything is centered around food. So in our culture, it's so easy to give in to the temptation, especially when you're having a low or just you're bored or you're just trying to cope and deal with something else by putting that compulsion off to just shopping. Let me go shopping. Let me shop and eat. How about that? Let me go buy a whole lot of things and charge my credit card up and buy a whole lot of different clothes and things that I know I don't need, and then when I feel bad about that, I'm going to just go park at Applebee's and get a rib plate, you know, something like that. So it's like you have to be mindful of what's driving you to actually spend and what are you doing. Like, are you really trying to fill a void, or are you doing those things, you know, just to actually celebrate something, or why are you doing it? On the flip side of that, I had to finally realize that for many, many years of my life, I grew up being addicted to helping people. It was an addiction for me. Addicted to love, you know. Later on, I found out that was actually codependency. And so I feel like sometimes in our community, it's a lot of codependent people that they don't realize that they are. It's not that you're dependent on people. It's that you have you get caught up in having self-defeating habits by trying to take on projects with people. You know how we always got projects. We want to help mold you, help shape you, help put you together, put your fire out, run and rescue you, save you. And at the end of the day, what you're really doing is people pleasing. And those types of people, we have to realize that you can't control people. You cannot help people. People have to help themselves. But as a result of finances, as a result of finances, you know, issues with codependency until I really was able to, I just thought I was a unique person that loved to help people. I didn't know what it was until I had to be told by somebody. I had to be told by one of my coaches, like, girl, you are codependent and you need to get it together. Stop focusing on everybody else and focus on yourself. Because my ride to rock bottom was as a result of codependency being at an all-time high and then being at the point of taking care of everybody else but myself, even if it meant for me financially suffering and giving the money away pretty much. How crazy is that? You work hard for this money, you're trying to save this money, and then family, friends, relationships, whatever's going on in your life, you're spending this money, and then you don't feel good about actually spending this money or loaning it to people or giving it to people. So what you do then, you turn around and have these compulsions like these shopping addictions and overeating and having all these other things.
Right, and not realizing that that's only for a moment. You're happy for a moment, you have a high for a moment, but then at the end of the day, you suffer from it. And so is it really helping you?
You suffer, and then that's when the shame kicks in. I talk about shame all the time because I had to finally realize what set me free was dealing with my shame. It's a gift to actually be able to help people, but it's a hindrance when you're not helping yourself.
Right.
And so you have to learn how to forgive yourself and move forward and understand how to build healthy relationships, not only with other people, but with yourself most importantly. And once I started having a deeper relationship with God and building a better intimate relationship with God and looking to my higher power, I started realizing, you know, I'm putting everything that doesn't matter before me and before Him. My daughter
Right.
and I sat on the back burner, kind of suffering at the expense of putting other people first, and I had to turn my priorities around. So sometimes it's all about turning your priorities around, and once I started doing that, I began to be happy because my focus was no longer on trying to please people and trying to help people at the expense of hurting myself, even if it meant financially.
And that is so true. That is so true, and I can definitely relate to everything you're saying.
That's right. So let me ask you, Jameelah, what made you change your focus when you tried to fill voids at that time? So from either trying to fill voids or intentionally getting to the point that you can intentionally save and actually focus on you rather than focusing on other people or your situations or outcomes that you ultimately couldn't control. What made you change your focus?
Well, I realized I've always had the heart of an entrepreneur. I think even as a little girl, I was selling purses to my next door neighbor. I've always been creative and made things and gift baskets and flower arrangements. And so at the time, my entrepreneurial spirit began to kick back in because, as life goes, you go to school, you move, you travel, and sometimes who you really are can get lost. And so I spent so much time. I wanted to be a good wife. I even, when I first got married, I made the curtains for the house. I sold. I just wanted to be.
All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to be married, and I wanted to have a husband. I can remember my senior year in high school, and all of us, the girls, we were hanging out in the classroom because, at the end of the year, everything is kind of quiet. The work is done. So you're just waiting to graduate. So I can remember having a conversation, and everybody was saying, what they wanted to be, what school they were going to, and, where they wanted to go to college. And so I remember Keisha. I can remember Keisha asking me, so, Jameelah, what do you want to do? Now, I've always loved journalism and watching Sabrina Squire as a little girl in Virginia. I always admired her. I thought she just was so pretty, and, I wanted to be in journalism. But I really wanted in my heart, even more than journalism, I came out and I answered her and I said, I want a family. I want a husband. That's what I want. And I just cannot believe at such an early age. I look back at that and I can't believe how genuinely I answered her. But that's what I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted to give love. I came from a single parent household. Some of people can call me a fatherless daughter. That's a whole nother subject in itself. But, so I just wanted to show that love. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to get married. And so and I came back to myself after being married and getting in a routine and say, I really would like to start a business again. And I really would like to go into entrepreneurship and business for myself. And before I even became a makeup artist, a lot of creative people can. You do a lot of stuff. Thank God that he's gifted me. I was able to do interior decorating. I was able to do, like I said, gift baskets, floral arrangements, everything. At the time, the housing market was booming. And so that's what I did. And so because entrepreneurship came back to me, I said I have to do better. It doesn't matter if he comes back and tells me what the plan is. I have to have my own plan. And I have to, in order to run a business, I have to have money to run a business because it takes money to make money. So I began to shift my priorities. And I began to deal with some things. A lot of times I find that we don't deal with the core issue of what's really going on. I had to learn how to communicate with my husband. We were not communicating effectively, and that's why every year I would ask the same question and get the same result because of ineffective communication. So I had to learn how to communicate with him and had to take the time to say what is at the root of this. Jameelah, why do you feel so bad that you have to go and spend money in shoes? You need shoes to make you happy. What's going on? You know, what's going on inside of you that you have to always, you know, have this high? What, you know, and so I had to step back and look and pray and ask God to show me some things. And then he would send people my way to speak word in my life. And so to really just open the doors, because as you begin to pray and talk to God, he will begin to show you if you really ask him and you really believe that he will. So
that's right.
I was not in tune with praying and having a relationship. All of these people who have religion, that's fine, nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, it's your relationship with God.
That is right, girl.
If you go to church,
about that.
girl, you know how sometimes it can be in our community. We go to church, we go in the prayer line, we okay while we're there. As soon as we hit the door, we back at the same state that we were in. That's because you can pray, but not only do you have to pray, you have to be in a relationship with God so that he can show you how to deal with you. You have to learn how to deal with the situation, and then you can come out and be honest with yourself and say, look, God, I'm having a problem. I don't know what's going on. You know, sometimes I get up. You know, a lot of people think when you pray, you got to be on your knees and put your hands together and all that. I always tell people, me and God, we like this. I have my fingers crossed.
That's right. We have a love-hate relationship. Like, we're going to talk this thing out today.
I said, God, you know, I'm having a hard time today. Or this lady really got on my nerves today. What is going on today, God? Is something going on? You know, and that's how you have to be. That's even how I teach my children. That's how he wants. Imagine you talking to your dad. You know, Dad, this happened to me today, and it really hurt my feelings. Or I don't like the way I grew up. Why did I have to go through this? And why did I have to? And realizing that pain brings forth purpose. You see what I'm saying? So you have to go deal with the root of things, the root of issues. Stop skirting around the issue. Stop, peekabooing at it. Just go ahead and be real with yourself and deal with it.
That's right. You know what I call it? Stop pussyfooting around. Stop playing games. You wasting time with your healing and your development because you refuse to face your reality. And let me tell you, honey, that was a story of my life. That was a story of my life. And I'll just go back real quick to piggyback off what you were saying, but communication is key. And I think from me now being a recovering codependent, which is something that had impacted my life from a very young age, from growing up even into my adult years, it's like I'm relearning myself. Or I'm not even relearning myself. I'm actually learning myself. I'm allowing myself to feel, allowing myself to actually be mindful and aware of what's going on. And I also had an issue with communication in relationships, not articulating my needs. I had a serious problem with not being able to articulate my needs. Right. And, when you can't articulate your needs, what are you going to go do? You're going to do something that's going to give you that outlet or maybe that adrenaline rush or that high that you need simply because it's something that's missing. And I had to realize in relationships, I had to start communicating. And when we're open enough to expose ourselves and be vulnerable and communicate our needs, that's what actually builds intimacy. And we have to be able to do that with God. We have to be able to do that with our friends, with our husbands or lovers or with our children. We have to be able to do that, and even with ourselves, even if it starts off with you just journaling or with you just praying out loud or on your knees praying and just saying, God, what do I need? Help me. Or this is what I need. This is what I need. How do I get what I need? How do I get my needs fulfilled in a way that is healthy and is not unhealthy? It's not me doing
and he will begin to He will begin to feel. He will begin to show you. He will begin to bring people. You'll be in the grocery store and somebody will say, I have people come on and talk to me all the time. I must just have my husband say, "So, do you know that lady?" I said, "No, I sure don't." He said, "You talk to that lady like you've been knowing her for years." For some reason, people, they just come to me, and I guess they can feel the love, because I do. I love people, and I'm inherently, God made me to be an exalter.
Right.
I have mercy, and I exalt people, and that's just what I do and who I am. And so, anyway, He will bring people to you that will confirm what you ask, and He will even use children, anybody. You just have to be open and keep your mind open, and when you do pray, just believe that you will get an answer, or you will get that help.
That is absolutely right. And then just back on what you were saying about religion, and I'm not trying to damper anybody's religion or spirituality in any way, but like you said, in our community, what were we raised to do? We were raised to go to church, maybe go to Sunday school, sing in the choir, get on the usher board, open your Bible, do what you need to do every Sunday, and then go home. Until you're willing to actually take the step to read the Word for yourself and build that relationship with God, it's like we're just going through the motions. And I can tell you, when I really decided to say, I'm not going to keep on, playing peekaboo or pussyfooting around, I'm going to finally confront my reality, I decided to take a stand in my personal life and get some healing from those issues in codependency that I suffered from for so many years without even realizing that was my issue. So I took a pledge, and I ended up attending Codependency Anonymous, along with some other anonymous programs, the 12-step programs. I know everybody, you're usually familiar with 12-step programs like AA or NA, but there are actually some other dynamic 12-step programs, and I decided to take full advantage of one that was actually at a local church. So I was able to actually attend trainings in Codependency Anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, and Overeaters Anonymous. And let me tell you, if you're dealing with any of those issues, that's a continuous cycle until you're able to get the healing that you're going to be on. You're going to keep on riding that merry-go-round, round and round. You may get rid of one issue, and then you'll have the other one. You may get rid of that one, and then you're going to have the other one. So I made the pledge to try to make myself finally understand that I needed to get whole.
Right.
I needed to deal with myself in all of those different ways so that I can go forward. And by me going through those 12-step programs, I was able to call on God and my higher power and build the best relationship that I've ever built before. If you ever need some information about those 12-step programs, feel free to email me, because I'm thinking about becoming a sponsor and doing some individual healing and just some things on a nonprofit aspect with them. But I think it's key. Some of us, we don't really understand what all those things mean, but once you dig into it and see how your finances and how your life can actually be impacted by those things, it's a great thing worth you learning into and, learning and trying to just actually participate in. And then also, like you were saying, once you just shifted your mind into starting to understand, hey, I'm getting ready to do business now. I'm gonna explore entrepreneurship. So some of this stuff, I gotta dead this issue. I can't be spending my money.
Right.
I can't be doing all these things. I have to learn how to communicate so that I can effectively run a business. If you don't deal with your stuff, just like I was saying with having a problem with articulating your needs, understand that that's the same issues that are going to run into your career, into your business.
Yeah.
Because we talk about delegating and building teams and leadership. If you still cannot articulate your basic needs, what makes you think that you're going to be able to articulate your needs in business or in your career?
You'll be very frustrated.
You will be. You're going to be very frustrated, and then what'll happen? You'll end up doing some self-sabotaging things and being resentful for even being in that business or in that career to begin with. Simply because you're not being aware or mindful of what your core issue is. What I really, really love about entrepreneurship, Jameelah, it has changed my life as far as the journey of self-discovery, the ongoing personal development, having positive people in your circle that are always going to lift you up and not pull you down, and then most importantly, just the mind shift of understanding the importance of investing in yourself. whether that's with a coach, a mentor, a mastermind group, or just, buying books and programs or attending conferences and things like that that are ultimately going to show you how to live that prosperous life. So I want to trade that with the world because, not only are you being able to build that legacy and build a business or kingdom build is what I like to call it. You kingdom building a brand and you're making some good money, but you're also able to build yourself up in the journey, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. So just moving on, another question I was going to ask you is, what do you think that you could use in place of buying things in this day and time to fill void, and how to pick yourself back up? So instead of you going to those things that we would, typically use just to fill those voids, what are some alternatives that we can do now that we can know in our lives as practical things now that we can actually pick ourselves up so we can move on?
Well, I would say the first and most important thing you can do is, like I said, build your relationship up with your Creator. It is so important. It's necessary. You cannot get around it, especially if you are an entrepreneur. You will go through ups and downs and lose friends and family. So you have to have a firm, strong foundation. And I really believe that comes from having an intimate, close relationship with God. You have to have it. It's no other way, in my opinion. Once you begin to build that relationship and, you feel comfortable, it's no longer feeling like a struggle to pray, and you can't wait to talk to him. And so that's when you begin to really say, well, I have this relationship with God. Well, God, why am I here? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to be doing? What was I born for? Why do you have me here? And so when you begin to speak to God, then you can begin to say, I need a plan because he has me here for a reason. You're not just here, just say hello to your neighbor. You're not just here to pay bills and make somebody else rich. You're here because God placed you here to be a blessing to someone else. And I find that even in business that, yes, like you said, you make the money because you have to have a way to live, and you have to have money to live in life. That's just how it is. You can't get around that. But at the end of the day, for me, with makeup, speaking, having this group called Graciously Me, it's about pouring into someone else. It's about what type of legacy will you leave? Who did you help? Who did you help release? You went through the story. You went through the struggle. Like I said, my mom was a single parent. So I can easily identify with someone else who only had their mother in their life. You go through things and you don't understand why you go through them, but they're really so that you can help someone else make it through. And so at the end of the day, it's a plan for everything, and you can turn your pain into purpose. But from that relationship with God, you build a plan. Now that you have a plan and you know that you're here for a reason, and you were wonderfully made, beautifully created, you know that it's something that you have to do. Then you begin to look at all aspects of your life and say, how can I make things better so that I can do what it is that I'm supposed to do while I'm here? And so for me, in being an entrepreneur, I needed to make that shift and say, even though my husband doesn't understand right now, let me do what I'm supposed to do. So I began to just put a little bit away. Don't put away $200 and your bills equal up to $150 and you're going to have to pull back out of the $200. If you have to start with $10 that you won't touch, then you take that $10 and just, don't even you take it. Now they have so many programs. Your bank can automate it, just like they automate the taxes on our checks if you work a 9 to 5, just like they automate everything else, out of sight, out of mind. But don't overdo it. Take small steps, baby steps. You do a little bit. Don't try to, just like me and these diets. I'm always trying to lose weight. And so that's one of my issues. I love to eat too, but I just love food. I just love good food,
Me too, girl. You know we share those recipes. You know we share those recipes, yes.
And I get excited, girl. Ain't that like some good food, you know?
That's right.
But you know, I had to say, look, Jameelah, you can't eat up all your money. You got, you got stuff.
That's right. That's
so
right.
I had to learn how to take $5 and $10 and set it to the side. And that Just Fab membership that I was getting shoes $39.95. You say you don't have the money, but you go to Starbucks every day, or every day you got to get that dollar sweet tea from McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? You have money to put it aside. And so you just have to refocus. And like I said, do small steps. And as you begin to see your smaller seeds begin to grow, then you'll say, oh, wow, I thought I couldn't take a vacation, but I do have money for a vacation. Or, you know, you can stop hating on everybody else that go on vacation. You can go on the trip.
That's right. And it's all in planning. The power is in planning. You have to be prepared and willing to plan. You have to plan for that life. So another question, even, you know, just to tie into this great, is so what would be some suggestions for our listeners to live that quality-driven life financially where you don't have to depend on money to make you happy?
And that's, like I said, you have to go back. You have to like you. If you don't like you, then it's some things you need to work on. And there's nothing wrong with sitting down and say, you know, everybody tell you to write a pro and a cons list. You know, write a pro, write a con. And so they say if you date somebody, write what you like about them, write what you don't like. Okay, do a pros and cons list on yourself. I like this about me. Jameelah is creative. You know, Jameelah loves people. Jameelah loves God. Jameelah gives. But what don't I like? Jameelah overeats sometimes. Jameelah sometimes she spend more than what she have. Jameelah sometimes will get in a slump, you know, because sometimes when your gift is exaltation, then the enemy will try to come to you in depression. Because if you're depressed,
that's
then
right. You can't help anybody else.
Right. So,
that's right.
You know, so then you look at it and you say, okay, I'm good with the pros of who I am, but let's work on these cons. So then that's when you begin to build in yourself. Get a book and read and say how to get over this. So while you're praying, you can do some practical things like say, Jameelah, you know, girl, you look good today. Talk to yourself. Be kind to yourself. You know, think about it and say, would you say that to somebody else? You're beating your own self up. You're putting your own self in a ditch. But would you really say that to somebody else, what you're saying to yourself? You have to begin to love yourself and love you and know, like I said, that you are here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. Somebody needs you. If you're not doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing, that means that you're leaving somebody else out in the cold. Stop leaving people out in the cold that need you. People need you to stand up. Somebody's waiting on you to get you together. And at the same time, you can't feel like you have to be perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. I talk about women's empowerment. I talk about confidence. I am the confidence artist. But are there days that I'm like, oh, Lord, Jameelah, you got to do something. You got to do that. Of course, because there's always room for improvement. But what you have to do is get past that. So you begin to build yourself. You begin to invest in yourself. You take those 12-step programs and you begin, like you were talking about earlier, and you really invest and you learn who you really are, what you have. Take personality tests. They have free personality tests online. Find out what type of personality do you have. Why? Answer some questions about yourself. Then when you make the biggest thing is to make the personal investment in you and begin to learn you, nurture you, love you. Run a bubble bath. I do it all the time. Put bubbles in the water. I light my candles. My kids, I have 2 kids. I say, look, this is my time. You have to be selfish with you sometimes. This is my time. Don't knock on this door. Don't ask me nothing until I come out of here. Don't put, when they were little, they used to put toys underneath the door. But look, you have to spend time with yourself. You have to be able to meditate and relax and just think on.
That's right.
Just, you know, just breathe in air. You know, when you walk outside, don't just walk and get so caught up And then you can't say, wow, the clouds, they look really pretty today. Or, take the time to really be in the moment, be in the present. You're always thinking about your future, but the future will take care of itself. And they say the past has already happened. So you have to learn how to live it right now. Be happy right now. Right. You might not have all the money you want. You might not have that fabulous, gorgeous man you've been asking God for, or woman that you've been asking God for. You might not have the biggest house yet, but just be content to know that I don't have it right now, but I will get it. I'm okay. I'm good. I'll get it. I don't have to be in a rush. You're not supposed to be anxious for anything.
That's
so
right.
When you take the time to just really be in the present, love on yourself, take time, spend time with yourself, read, be by yourself. It's okay to be by yourself sometimes.
That's
just
right.
be by yourself and really, nurture you. And that's how you do it without going out and buying a pair of shoes, because you realize, I'm okay with me. I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't need a pair of shoes to say, this is going to give me a high for 10 minutes, and then I found out that I'm $30 short on my electric bill, and now I'm asking everybody for $10 to pay my electric bill because you paid $40 for a 1 minute high. You know that you're
1 minute.
That's all that lasts.
$30 for 1 minute high.
It goes from 0 to 100 real quick when you find out you didn't have money and you can't pay your bills. I've been there. I know. I'm not talking just from, just talking to hear myself talk. I know what it's like. But I also know what it's like to love me. I know what it's like. I don't need it. I remember the last time I bought a pair of shoes. As a matter of fact, I've been giving more than I've been spending. And I've been blessed just in the giving.
And that's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. And so the main thing that you can do without spending any money is to love you, invest in you, spend time with you. And that's my main thing that I can nugget, that I can leave, what you can do without spending money to be happy.
Right. Look at you dropping all those jewels today, and I love it. I love it, the art of just being mindful and just being present in the moment. Just like you said, when making that pros and cons list, how about focusing on your strengths for one and not beating yourself up about the cons? Focus on your strengths and run with it. Whatever those strengths are, great. Run with it and create that quality-driven life by those strengths. True. And whatever you have your weaknesses on, how about instead of being so prideful, to actually go ask for help in those areas so somebody can help you or at least take something off your hands that you're not so good at.
Right. And when you take those personality tests and you find out, oh, I'm just a strong-willed person. No, sometimes you can learn things about yourself to say, hey, this is what I need to work on. I'm already good in this area. But learn how to make yourself more well-rounded. You find out what easily comes to you and what doesn't. So when you find out, don't just take it and say, that's me, that's who I am. No, you can work on that. You can get better at that. You can learn how to be better so that you can be more balanced.
That's right. I was just going to ask you, remember we took that test together when I first started coaching you? What was that test? And it came back saying I was an ING. I have to look it up.
The Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs. I was an ENFP. Yes, I love that.
And I was the ING somebody, y'all. I have to find out and let y'all know. But what I can tell you, I took another test, and I had to realize and come to terms with the fact that I am an introvert. And a lot of people are like, really? I wouldn't even thought that about you. I am growing. I'm not so introverted to the point that I don't like conversing with people and things like that, but I'm a social introvert. So I can show up, but I have to be mindful of my energy because it drains me at times. I don't like having a whole lot of little small talk and chit-chat. I can talk about meaningful things all day, one-on-one or in small groups and things like that. But as far as just being that extroverted person that likes to be on the scene all the time, likes to be around a lot of people, that is just not my personality. And I can tell you, I am the middle child of 5 children. And all the children, how we grew up, I would be the only child under the table playing by myself. And I was okay with that. I did not have to have people around me, and I'm still like that to this day. So when you're mindful of your personality, hone into that strength. See how you operate well with it. See what you can do that's going to make you happy. Don't force yourself to do things that's just not comfortable or it's just not your personality. And with learning a little bit more about your personality, you'll be able to live that happy life. Also, I only do what I love. You know, I focus on my strengths, yes. I get help for the things that I may be weak about, but I only do the things that I love. So if it's a food, a favorite food that I love, a snack, a TV show, a favorite color, just whatever it is, I have created this life that I'm only doing what I love. And the things that I don't love to do, I just get somebody else to help me do it. It has to be done, right? Why force yourself to do the thing? So even when it comes back to your finances, if you don't like having a spending plan and doing, you know, your budgets or doing your taxes, that stuff fascinates me. I really like it. But if you don't like doing those things and you don't have the willpower to do it, or you just don't want to do it, you don't have the interest, don't let it be undone. Get somebody to help you with it. And like Jameelah said, it's all types of tools available, all types of services, all types of automated things you can get with your bank that just can help you make your life a little bit easier. But it just starts with you being willing to be present and being mindful of what needs to be done.
Right, and knowing that you're more than a pair of shoes or a new purse or some red bottoms.
Because those red bottoms, they might make you happy, what you say, for that 1 minute. But when
you realize that one compliment.
That's right. You realize you still have to get your lights, keep your lights turned on, and you may not have enough money, then what? So we have to do better as far as being mindful and then making those purchases. There's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself, but making those purchases when it actually makes sense for your budget financially. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Jameelah. We're actually going to get ready to wrap up here on our show, but we wanted to be able to possibly connect with you a little bit further. How can we actually connect with you or support you? And then also, if you have any upcoming events or anything, just let our listeners know how we can actually support you.
I would love for you all to connect with me. I've had a great time speaking with you today, and there are definitely multiple ways that you can get in contact with me, keep up with me. One, I am on all social media sites, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, Twitter, and you will find me at JS the MUA. So that's JSTHE MUA on all social media, as well as I have a website, and that is www.jameelahscott.com. That's www.jameelahscott.com. You can find out more information about me, about the makeup services that I offer, as well as any events taking place, which there is one coming up on July 16th. It's our second annual Graciously Me Women's Empowerment Conference, and this year's theme is Walking Your Greatness. We're going to have
that's right.
It'll be in Hopewell, Virginia this year. It's a one-day conference. We have an awesome keynote speaker. We're going to be talking about subjects such as health, relationships, your life, how to get off the roller coaster of life and really get on a great path. We're even going to be talking about practical things like hair. We're going to have a celebrity hair stylist that's going to be on the panel. We're going to be talking about how to make God first, as well as just igniting your passion. We're going to have a little bit of fun with NBC's Last Comic Standing. Kassan Wilson, he was on NBC's Last Comic Standing. He is going to actually be our host. And for those that will be dining with us for lunch, he will be doing a 30-minute comedy set. So you can definitely go to www.jameelahscott.com, go to Graciously Me or the events page to get information on tickets. I would love to see you there.
Awesome. I'm just so excited for that event, Jameelah. Last year was great. That first Graciously Me event, it was just life-changing, and I cannot wait until this next one in July. So, everybody, I just want to also just remind you that if you haven't already, be sure to connect with me also on Facebook, Kawauna Divine Purpose McElroy. You can just regularly search Kawauna McElroy. I also am on Instagram, listed as Kawauna McElroy, and then also on YouTube, with my Divine Purpose TV. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe. That way you'll be able to listen to all our podcasts that are, in the future or the ones that we've done presently. You can also download the app, and I'll also have that available for you on social media streams where you can have access 24/7 to be able to listen to our podcast here and then maybe even share it with your family and friends. Before we actually leave, I just wanted to let you know this, just to give you a little pieces of jewels and nuggets from me. Transitioning from being in that place of maybe being stuck or just unhappy into finally being happy with where you are, realizing that money can bring abundance into your life. It actually is doable. We want to make sure that you are happy and healthy at the same time, as well as being financially successful. I actually have posted a quote on Facebook, and I'm going to read it. It's actually a meme, but it talked about the inevitables of success. Now, you can take this and apply it to your personal life, apply it to your business life, to your transformational, to your transition while you're trying to do better financially. But keep in mind, success is inevitable, okay? You may feel pain. You might cry before you actually get it. You might lose friends. Your family might discourage you. People might hate you for no reason. You might almost always talk yourself out of doing whatever it is you're trying to do at least 100 times. You are probably going to doubt yourself thousands of times. You may think you're going crazy. You might even develop weird habits. And you can almost always guarantee when you're trying to invest in yourself, sometimes you might lose money, especially in business when we don't know things. But at the end of the day, it'll all be worth it. Like Jameelah said before, everything that we go through in life, it's not necessarily for you. It might just be for somebody else. And for a long time in my life, just dealing with shame actually muzzled my mouth and kept me silent and fearful and full of anxiety, so that I would not be able to be the person that God called me to be and walk into my divine purpose. Now, can you imagine if I never was able to break free and open my mouth? I know that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And I used to have to just tell myself, if I can just get to the other side, if I could just build myself up and be confident, like Jameelah said, she's a confidence artist, build myself up and have that confidence, free myself from those things that are holding me back. If I could take back control over my life, take back control over my finances, restore myself spiritually and emotionally and physically, what would my life be like? Take that with you today. I challenge you to just ask yourself, if there's something that's holding you back, if there's something that's hindering you, or are you using any type of voids to deal with something that you're not dealing with, what can you do today to make a change? And I want to hear from you. So in order to stay connected with me, and if you want to go a little bit further about this discussion, you can feel free to leave a comment, or you can either email me at kawauna.mcelroy@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you and even help you. Don't forget about the resources that I mentioned earlier about the 12-step programs, because they actually saved my life. And without me being able to go on my healing journey, I wouldn't have never been able to help people in the way that I'm able to help them today. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. It was a pleasure spending time with you. I hope you did gain some valuable information and some information from our confidence artist, Miss Jameelah Scott, my boo, and my coaching client. We will see you next week. And from my heart to yours, I just want you to keep on prospering on purpose. I hope you have a blessed day.